Had you been in ODM, would you have said the same statement?
And
yeah, you'll be in support of ODM streamlining democracy.
No, I want to say that I was in ODM as long as ODM was a party of fighting for change and fighting for the better governance of the country. If you look forward, and as I told you, Raila was a member of KANU.
Yeah.
As Tony Gachoka, I've never joined a tribal party. I've never been part of a party that has no ideology or any issue. I really weighed heavily when I wanted to offer myself to run for Nairobi. I never looked for any shortcut. I said if I cannot be in ODM because they are with Kasongo and they are with Ruto, and my conscience cannot allow me to be anywhere Kasongo is, I must choose to go elsewhere. And I looked back to my roots and I said, this party, KANU, has had an opportunity to lead the country, correct its mistakes, which it did when it handed over power to Mwai Kibaki. What role can I play?
So is Kasongo, the current Kasongo, diametrically different from the Kasongo you knew during ODM days?
Yes. I know William Ruto before ODM. I first met William Ruto when I was in YK 90, when he was in YK 92. YK 92 was an organization that was run by Cyrus Jirongo, Sam Nyamwea, and William Ruto. At that time, I was a chief executive of Finance Magazine with the Honorable Gachoka Tabaki, who was the publisher. The Honorable Gitobu Imanyara ran the Nairobi Raw Monthly, and Pius Nyamu ran Society Magazine. So at that time, we were called the alternative media. And we used to hold the government of the day to account because the mainstream media would not touch those issues. So the first time I came to know of Ruto, he was in YK 92. YK 92, for younger viewers, was an organization that was formed to create wealth by looting public institutions and by getting free hand to create money from corporations.
But was that the germinal idea? Was it not the Gen Z of them days?
It was.
Yes, so to speak, the young tax, as you call it.
Was.
Yeah,
it was.
Yes.
And in fact, those days, the 500 note was called Jirongo because it is them that were amassing money through buildings and many estates like Hazina and others. You know, they were involved in housing. This housing issue began then. It was not beginning now. Anyway, William Ruto was involved at the beginning in an organization whose roots were very suspect. And that is why up to today, Jirongo, Cyrus, and Ruto cannot see eye to eye because they fell out then. So when I knew Ruto then, his character was suspicious. I have never worked with William Ruto. I met him in ODM. And when he was in ODM...
So what made his character suspicious?
I can say this because it's what Raila Odinga told me. Because when Raila Odinga formed ODM, Raila Odinga had two allies in Rift Valley, Henry Kosgei and Kipkalia Kones, and the late Laboso. Those were squarely in Raila camp. So when Raila became prime minister, he made Kones the minister for roads, and he made Ruto minister for agriculture. Ruto was very mad, because he was made in a junior position than the late Kipkalia Kones. If Kipkalia Kones had not died, William Ruto would never have taken the positions that he took after that. Raila's heart was with Henry Kosgei, who was then Minister for Industrialization, and the late Kipkalia Kones. And so William Ruto's path has come, and many people forget, William Ruto became a president because he made a deal with retired President Uhuru Kenyatta about the ICC, where there had been killings. Over 6,000 Kenyans were killed in the Rift Valley and the environs. And in the peace deal with Kenyatta, both of whom were indicted at The Hague, Uhuru Kenyatta, William Ruto, the police commissioner Ali, the head of the civil service Mudhaura, under Kibaki's signature, were all indicted at The Hague to answer crimes against humanity. And people forget that it is the indictments at The Hague that united Kenyatta and Ruto against those who wanted them to be held to account. So in other words, the Jubilee government election was elected in order to cover up the deaths and the people that passed away during the tribal clashes. And as such, the Jubilee government was formed, in my view, in a poor legal ideological basis, and they won because the emotions of the country were against those who sent them to The Hague, and therefore they were never able to hold together. After a short time in government, Uhuru and Ruto just broke because they were never united by ideological or by conventional things. They were united because they said their communities had been persecuted, and they blamed ODM and Mwai Kibaki for their persecution. So the Jubilee government from the beginning was formed on fraud and fell on the sword of fraud.
So are you in support of